Hello everyone. We are so excited. I have the extreme honor of doing even more product testimonies now to follow up that. Are you guys excited about the new product? Yeah? Amazing. Okay, so our panel can be summarized by this. If the products aren't changing your life, the business probably isn't either. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. I have with me several girls, and they have amazing product results. We're going to talk about them. Let me start you with mine, though. We're not going to talk about me very much, but I do want to take you through back in, well, if you've been to green carpet before, or even the past 2 green carpets, this is the first time you may have ever met me or seen me not pregnant. This is the first one that I have not been with child, Ashley Sinclair. So back in December, I had Stella, my 3rd baby. I had her in October, and it was my goal to wear these green shorts I had gotten on clearance while I was pregnant for 2 years in a row. I wanted to wear these green shorts on the cruise in December. That was my goal. So I'm sure we all, maybe, I don't know if you guys do that, but I have something, I have a goal, I look at it every day, it was those green shorts, right? So as soon as I had Stella, I went on the system before I knew it was the system. I was just wrapping and, using the greens and cutting out a couple of things. And by the time the cruise rolled around, it was 6 weeks, I was maybe 2 weeks out from the cruise, and those shorts still weren't fitting because of my love handles, those dang love handles. So I'd made huge progress. So I started wrapping my love handles specifically, and I used 4 of them, so over 12 days, and I fit into those green shorts for the cruise, and I took a picture of them. So if you want to see mine, go ahead and put my results up there of my love handles, if you've got them. Pretty sure you have mine, right? There I am. Okay, so those are the green shorts, and all I did here was I wrapped 1 wrap on each side of my love handles over 12 days. I had 4 of them, and I fit into those green shorts. So that is my most recent huge accomplishment with our products. It still works. Almost 4 years later, I wrapped those love handles. It was my very first thing I did. So super excited. All right, so let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. It's not just these results, but how the products and personal results are how you take your business to a whole nother level. So that's what we're doing. We're going to help you take your business to a whole nother level. So we are going to talk to my distributors up here. So guys, we're just going to go through, take a minute or so, tell me who you are, where you're from, how you got started, and why you got started. So Heather, we'll start with you.
Well, my name is Heather. I'm from a small town in Oklahoma. It's called Wynnewood. I started just like anybody else. I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck. My car was almost getting repossessed. I had no money to pay any of my bills. And so I actually used the $99 I was supposed to pay my electricity bill with and got my starter kit. So I had no electric for a week. And so that just goes to show if you really want something, you'll do whatever it takes in this business to get it done.
It's awesome. What rank are you now?
I am Diamond.
Diamond.
In February.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And my why would probably have to be my parents, because they have just gone above and beyond for me my whole life. And it's just, whenever I think about it, how do you repay somebody that has literally given you everything? And so one day I pray that I'll be able to lift all their financial burdens, and I know because of It Works, I'll be able to.
Awesome. Great job. All right, Stephanie, who are you? Where are you from?
My name is Stephanie Anderson. I'm a Midwest girl from South Dakota. Here's the thing. Before I started, I have 2 children. I have an almost 9-year-old and a 1-year-old. And last April, I gave birth to my daughter, and I came home. And whereas the past 7 years, I thought life was fantastic, as soon as I came home with my daughter, I literally, my heart sank, because I actually had realized how much of my son's life I actually missed, because I was working 2 jobs, and I was starting up a photography business, and I was a full-time student, so I was never around. And it wasn't until last year, right before I had my daughter, where I was able to witness him losing a tooth for the first time, and it was like his 5th tooth. So when I brought my daughter home, I'd realized that, and I knew that I wanted to change, and I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I was watching my friend post about this business for, maybe a month and a half, and one post changed my life. She posted about promoting to diamond, earning one of those good bonuses, and I was just like, there's got to be something different than what I'm doing. I don't want to go back to work and relive the last 7 years. So, and I don't tell many people this, but I was 2 months behind on my mortgage at the time. I did not have the money to start, and I charged it. And from there, I just kind of flew.
Awesome. What rank are you now?
I'm a double diamond.
Double diamond. Not behind rent anymore. Not behind mortgage.
I'm not behind on any mortgage.
Okay, awesome. Kristen, who are you? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Kristen Martin. I'm a presidential, and I've been with It Works for 3.5 years now, and it's kind of funny, my stories like Heather. I was very interested in the products, but a big skeptic, and in order to start the business, I paid my electricity late. So that was crazy, and my husband fortunately was very open to me doing that. But I started off as a big skeptic, was watching my now upline post photos nonstop of bellies. I had just lost about 60 pounds through diet and exercise, and I had what I call the pouty lip stomach that was left over, and I thought that I was going to need to get surgery. Well, that was not going to be in the cards for a long time. And so after stalking Sarah for months and asking her lots of crazy questions, I finally decided to try one wrap to actually prove it didn't work. And then when it did work, I knew that I was either going to be a customer or a distributor. And I was this close to being a customer, and my husband was like, we've wasted $99 on worse things. What's the worst thing that can happen? Because we really were in a really bad financial position. So we went for it, made the sacrifice, and now 3.5 years later, life looks very different, and it's been amazing.
Awesome. Okay, so I want to talk about, we're not going to do your results photos yet. I want to talk about what was leading up to that. So Kristen, I'm going to come back to you because we got a little bit of that. So leading up to the photos we're going to see, you had lost 60 pounds, but you still had, would you call it a pouty lip tummy? Is that so sad? Okay, so anything you want to add to that leading up to these photos? Tell me how you were, like, mentally. How were you feeling about yourself? How was your confidence before?
Well, I was very proud of myself for being able to lose, the weight on my own. It took me about 3 years because I've had really bad thyroid issues. So I was feeling really good, but also really frustrated that even though I could tell that my body could fit into smaller clothes, I couldn't, like everything, things were squishing, and it's like, I so badly wanted to experience that, like, smooth tummy for the first time, and so the confidence was kind of there, but once I tried the wrap, it was like, 24 hours later, it was like night and day to what my stomach looked like. I was actually one of those people that didn't have, like, that immediate 45-minute results, and I remember telling Sarah, I don't think there's any change. She's like, just keep drinking water, take your photos. I'm like, sure, and then 24 hours later, I remember actually touching my stomach and being like, something feels different, and my confidence just, like, went through the roof.
That's so cool. Okay, Heather, let's go to you. Your results started a journey without you knowing that was about to happen, right? Tell me about leading up to this before Cleanse entered your life.
So in high school, I was one of those girls that played like every single sport, so I was constantly active, and it was so easy to keep weight off until I graduated. Well, who out there likes junk food? Anybody? Yeah. I would eat junk food for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and every meal in between. Like, it is my go-to. I love sweets. And, just anything I can get my hands on. Brownies, cookies, dill pickle chips. Those are my favorite. And I would just eat them constantly, and I didn't realize that I was actually starting to gain weight until I looked at a picture of myself, and I was just sick. It was just awful. I couldn't imagine... Like, I tried running and exercising, it wasn't helping, and, I just couldn't do anything to get the weight off.
All right, Stephanie, let's go to you. Your results are from the system. Tell me, how did you decide to do the system? What was leading up to that? I know there was a goal you were working on, right? Okay, tell me about that.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I had my daughter last year, and my body wasn't back to where it was. I wasn't completely happy with my body. I'm a smaller person anyways, but there just was, I wanted to be back where I was, and I wasn't quite sure how to get there. But when I came to conference in February, and they introduced the cleanse, and a lot of you came up here and showed your results off the cleanse because you were, using it in January before it got released. I was in shock at how amazing it boosted the system results. So I had already had all the products for the system, and the minute they announced it, I went on my phone and I ordered the cleanse. It wasn't that long later that I got it in the mail, and I started that day on the cleanse. I really wanted my pre-baby weight off.
Perfect. Okay, you guys want to see the results? Yeah. All right, Kristen, let's see yours. Let's see Kristen's results up on the big screen from, I'll let you give me the goods. There they are. Kristen's results only from wraps. I can't read from this angle. Six wraps, is that right?
6 wraps.
Okay, 6 wraps. Tell me about it. Tell me about this, how you were feeling, your results.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened after.
First of all, it's a dream come true to have my stomach blasted all over the big screen. I've always wanted that in my life. But
It's a beautiful time.
it's just
Look
gorgeous.
at those results.
Yeah, no, the after is beautiful. So, so I initially tried the 1 wrap, and I saw pretty good results. And so after that, I was like, I remember it was really funny. I was hunting down wraps, trying to find somebody in my area that had wraps. I was hunting people down. There was nobody in my area that had them. And so at that point, I was kind of like, all right, I'm just going to become a customer. I just wanted one immediately again. And so after I decided to become a distributor, I was able to get my wraps in, and I did 5 more wraps and was just like blown away. I mean, I was really blown away even after the 2nd and 3rd wrap, but 6 seemed to be like the magic number for me, to where I felt like my stomach was just transformed.
Yeah. What happened to your business after this? Because I know this was right when you were getting started.
Yes.
So what happened?
Yeah, my business blew up. I mean, it's kind of funny. I know a lot of people